Hey, everybody, just wanted to reach out real quick and let everybody kind of see what it looks like to have a transition from another state to Tennessee. And I dragged, pulled, and pleaded and prodded to get this lady, my wife, Melissa, on camera because she is like the behind the scenes guru and wants to always be behind the scenes, but she is actually on camera today. So thank you. I love you. I know I'll pay for this later.
Possibly.
But as we are getting started, we're going to kind of go through several different things that kind of maybe would help you in the process of your move to Tennessee. I know when you first start looking at possibly moving to another state, at this point, the internet is a huge factor into that because YouTube has so many different options. And what I wanted to do is I didn't want it to come at it from a professional standpoint or from a realtor or a mortgage person's point of view. I really just kind of wanted to get your point of view and like, what's it been like moving a family of 12? We do have 12 kids, by the way. And yes, they're all ours.
They didn't all move with us, though.
No, they didn't all move with us, but they are all ours.
Yes.
And they're not adopted, and there's not any religious reason if you're thinking that we're a certain type of denomination or something. No. So let's get started diving into what it looks like to move to Tennessee. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time and you're wanting to know anything there is to know about Tennessee, like what's it like to move here, you can click the subscribe button, click the bell for notification, and then you'll get notified every single time we upload a new video. Myself, Michael, and my wife, our team, we get calls from people just like you from all over the country looking to make their move. If that's you and you have questions, even if you're just kind of exploring or you're scrolling and you ran across this video, feel free to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We'll gladly answer any questions you may have about the area. And now we are going to jump in and we're going to start with the move where let's give them a little bit of background, like where we grew up, where we moved to, and then why we moved here.
Okay. Well, we are originally from Georgia. And then different set of circumstances moved us to Michigan for 14 years, which was a huge adjustment, especially for me being a Southern girl, because I don't like cold. And that's one of the main reasons we moved back south. But no, I mean, the main reason obviously was work. More opportunity here in Tennessee. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Okay. And so we had in Georgia, we had 100-degree days. Absolutely. And then we would have, due to humidity, we would end up having like 10, 15 degrees at times in the winter. And we would have some snow days. And when we had snow days, though, like the world stopped turning, everything stopped, right? And then we moved to Michigan, and we flew into Michigan, and when we flew in, there was 10 inches on the ground.
April 25th.
Yeah, it was April 25th, and it snowed 10 inches, and that was just amazing. And it didn't stop ever, did it?
No, it didn't stop.
It felt like it didn't stop, but typically it would snow, like we were there 14 years, and I would say most years it snowed maybe once, like an early snow in October, or certainly by November it snowed. And then once it snowed in November or December, it didn't melt until March or April.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of depressing at times.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So enough about those places. You want to hear about Tennessee. So you and I kind of like, at what point did you say Tennessee? Was that year one we were in Michigan?
Oh, well, we had we had discussed several states to move to. Florida actually was one of the ones we talked about too, but Tennessee just seemed like the perfect between. Like, like we were still going to be fairly close to Georgia, where family was, and still got to enjoy, the mountain areas and that kind of thing. It just was a bigger draw to me personally.
Okay. And you picked a city in your mind.
I did.
And what city was that?
Murfreesboro.
And why did you pick Murfreesboro, Tennessee?
I was trying to find somewhere, it's not exactly like right in the middle between Nashville and Chattanooga, but it was like more outside Nashville, kind of going west. So that was kind of my thought process. Still not a huge city, obviously, like Nashville, but it was kind of still had like enough, entertainment and things going on, but then still kind of had that small town feel. And I don't know, it just kind of stuck with me. And that's the one that I kept going back to. That's not where we ended up landing, but
yeah. And where did we end up landing? We landed in the most expensive city in Tennessee, Franklin, Tennessee.
But we were clueless. Like we had no idea.
That is true. That's true. So, as it turns out, being in the Franklin area, what is it like? Like, you got to remember, we grew up in Atlanta, the Atlanta area. So, if there is a city in the United States that is absolutely the worst city in America to have traffic, it would be Atlanta. They just don't know how they don't know how to do roads, I guess. But what is traffic like here in the Franklin, Tennessee area?
There is definitely traffic at certain times of day, like you would expect, rush hour times in the morning and afternoon. But I would say, really, I mean, it flows. It's not like you get stuck for hours on end. Don't come here thinking, it's country, no traffic at all, because there's definitely city traffic, but it's not bad. And again, it just might be because I did grow up around metro Atlanta area and I know what that looks like. So
yeah, so I would agree. Like there's not really until you get out into the outskirts of Franklin and Leaper's Fork, or out, Dixon area, different places like that, or south. You can go south of Franklin and you can find not really dirt roads, I guess, but you can definitely get more country roads out that far. As far as traffic, interesting that you really wanted to be in Murfreesboro, but Murfreesboro is absolutely awful traffic. Like, to get from one side of Murfreesboro to the other can take 30 minutes. And we're not there.
We're not there.
I saved you. I saved you from it.
Yes.
Okay, so being in the surrounding metro area of Nashville, you're looking at, depending on the direction, I would say, and which part of maybe Spring Hill, Murfreesboro, Hendersonville, Gallatin, or really what's up, Kingston Springs out toward the west. You're looking at about anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes in normal traffic, not rush hour. In rush hour, it's going to be an hour and 15 minutes to get anywhere. If you're going to a sports game or downtown or something like that, depending on the time, you could be there in 45 minutes, or it could take an hour and 15. Keep in mind, you do need to leave time if you're going to be going to a sports parking lot, because it takes a while to get into the sports events. We do have pro sports here. We also have semi-pro sports. We have the Predators, which is a hockey team. We have the Titans football team. And then we have the Nashville Sound, which is our minor league baseball team. So lots of other things to do downtown. What is one of your favorite places downtown you like to go? I know I put you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah. There's the Frist Art Museum that the kids and I go to a couple of times a year. Obviously, the Hall of Fame is down there, Country Music Hall of Fame. As far as, like venues or, well, maybe not a venue, but like to go eat. My new favorite now is Sinatra's.
Yeah.
They opened not too long ago, which is
she's a Sinatra fan. Like we have multiple Sinatra albums, like the vinyl albums.
Yeah. I'm not a bars person, but there's definitely rooftop bars and all that stuff, and all the music you could ever want, for sure.
Good music too. I mean, everybody knows how to sing here.
Yeah. There's no lack of quality good musicians anywhere you go, for sure.
So that shifts us off of traffic into entertainment, really, because we kind of talked about that. So entertainment wise, there's kind of two camps on the entertainment thing. There's entertainment like concerts and bars and restaurants and live music everywhere you go, for sure. Even outskirts, even in the towns that are not in downtown Nashville, they have music, live music, not all the time, but a lot of the time as well. And what's some other things entertainment wise that you like to do? You mentioned Frist. Like there's a lot of like family friendly things to do.
Yeah, there's lots of children's museums, science museums. All the parks are fantastic. Almost all of them have like walking trails there as well.
There's the Natchez Trace. The Natchez Trace is it's a road that's over 400 miles, goes from Nashville all the way to Natchez, Mississippi. And it is a winding road. There's nothing commercial on the road. So there's no gas stations. There's no signs like, commercial signs or anything like that. And it's a 35 to 45 mile an hour wind through the mountains. And it's just a beautiful drive. Along that, there's all kinds of waterfalls, hikes, parks that you can stop at, huge bridges to go over. Oh, it's really pretty neat. Okay, so other entertainment, there's the Grand Ole Opry and Opryland, which is a big hotel, and part of that hotel is Sound Waves, which is an indoor water park. There's another water park, Nashville Shores, Nashville Shores, and that's right at the lake. There's two lakes there here in Nashville. There's Percy Priest Lake, and then there's Old Hickory Lake. Old Hickory, named after Old Hickory, which is Andrew Jackson, actually has a house on the lake, the Hermitage, which is right on the east side of Nashville. So, I mean, there's a place to go.
Yep.
So there's a lot of entertainment, certainly. Anything else on entertainment?
Nashville Zoo.
Nashville Zoo. Okay. And then there's obviously the national chains of things like trampoline parks, sky zones, and everything. If you want to go out of town a little bit, in your favorite town, just outside of Murfreesboro, there's a place called the Outpost Armory. It's a great place to go if you want to go target shooting. You can also shoot a 50 caliber rifle. That is a lot of fun. I don't think she would shoot it, but a lot of my kids have shot one. It's a lot of fun to go do that. I just had to mention that because
axe throwing, all those
axe throwing. Yeah, we have axe throwing right down the road. Yeah, so there is just about anything you want to do in the Nashville area as far as entertainment. So let's jump on to, since we're talking about entertainment, we can talk about food because
you eat better in the South.
Yeah, you do eat better. Although I do miss my hot dog stand. I got a hot dog stand in Michigan that I love, and I miss that one. But and then there's a Martin's. It's Martin's Barbecue. There's not a Martin's chicken restaurant like there is in Georgia that I absolutely love there that has awesome biscuits. But there's plenty of good places that have biscuits here.
There it is.
We actually went on a biscuit tour. Maybe we need to make a video about that. The biscuit tour. Because we had some friends that were moving here from Georgia, and they wanted to know if they could, find good quality cat head biscuits. Cat head biscuits, yes, it's a big biscuit. So we went for probably 10 weeks.
A long time. Every Saturday
And every Saturday morning we would go and find, you said you want to go do that again. We want to go get some biscuits. All right. So we're going to go back on tour. And when we hit the biscuit places, we're going to have to give you a list of the places that you're going to need to try. There are a lot of good biscuit places here in Nashville and surrounding Nashville.
There's good barbecue, lots of places though.
Yes.
And good meat and threes, which I don't know if they know what meat and threes are. But
Yeah. I don't think most of the country knows what a meat and three is. A meat and three is a meat and 3 vegetables. And vegetables in the South mean food. They don't necessarily mean vegetable. Like it could be mashed potatoes. Mac and cheese. Sweet potatoes. Like not necessarily vegetables, but you can get 3 sides. So it's a meat and 3 sides. How about that? And always good country cooking, fried chicken, country fried steak, pretty much anything that'll make you fat.
Pretty much.
Yes. Meat and threes are good. That is true. And some of our favorite barbecue places, I would say Edley's was good barbecue.
Yep.
And Jack's, we had Jack's barbecue one time. That was pretty good. And there's a chain, Mission Barbecue is here. It's actually in Murfreesboro. Well, there's 2. There's one in Murfreesboro and there's one up at Opryland. And the Mission's barbecue is good. But the best barbecue that we have found in Tennessee, we actually had today.
Yep.
Martin's Barbecue. And there are several locations of Martin's Barbecue here in the Nashville area. I think it must be their fries, like their hand cut fries, not just hand cut, but I mean like they're real French fries.
Yes.
And barbecues smoked for like 10 days or something like it's a long time.
It is a long time, but not that long.
Brisket's amazing. It's all good. Coleslaw's good too. Okay, what other food? Sinatra's is good. I thought that was good.
Sinatra's, that's fancy food. Perry's is fancy food.
Oh, we call it fancy food.
It's fancy food.
Fancy food.
Fancy, expensive.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. And then what else? Oh, there's a place called Puckett's. Puckett's has some good food. And I don't know, there's no way we could name all the places. No. It would take a really long time.
That's a video all on.
So. Probably so. But just know there's plenty of great food all over Nashville, and you can have every kind of dining experience you want, from the bar and grill type to the fancy food like she was talking about. There's a place called Manel's, which is family style, where you sit down with a bunch of people, but then you eat food till you can't eat anymore and they have to roll you out. Great Mexican food. I mean, pretty much.
We got it all.
You do have it all, for sure. All right, so let's jump on to the weather. I know we kind of touched on the weather, but we only talked about it was cold and you wanted to move out of there. So let's kind of talk about the weather and how we've had to adjust from being 14 years in the freezing cold, dry weather into what we have now. Well,
I enjoy spring again. I didn't used to enjoy spring because it was nothing but cold mud. But then that brought the allergies back, because you are, where things are blooming again, like different varieties and that kind of thing. Summers are hot, y'all. It does get hot, but it's hot enough now where I actually want to get in the pool. Where in Michigan, it was like not hot enough for me to want to get in the water because that water was cold. So, summer's no joke. It does get hot and buggy, but fall is beautiful.
What is buggy?
Bugs.
Bugs.
Yeah.
You mean like mosquitoes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Fall's pretty.
Fall's pretty.
Winter's tolerable. And I'm not a cold person, so I still don't like to get out very much in the winter, but it's nothing like it was.
So the biggest difference, I think, transition-wise was, and people have talked about this coming from California heat to Tennessee heat, the same is true with cold. We came from Michigan, which is a dry cold. So the winter is dry. It's not humid, but it's super cold. So it could be 0 degrees, but you could go outside and it was still somewhat tolerable. I can't say it wasn't cold. It was cold. But you get here and it's like 20 to 25 degrees and the humidity's still at 70 or 75 and it's bone chilling cold. There's something about that humidity that just makes it terrible.
I don't think it's that bad.
That's coming from somebody who doesn't like cold.
I know. It's still not as bad with the wind and the snow. You know, like we don't have that.
Gotcha.
So,
well, you got a good point
we
there.
do have black ice, so that's a thing. And we don't have the same trucks and things that
Snow
come
plows.
out.
Yeah, there's no snow plows. So I will let you know that if the weatherman says it's going to snow, the schools are shutting down. Now, I used to drive a school bus in Michigan for a while. And when I was driving the school bus in Michigan, it would have to be 6-8 inches coming down at the time we're picking up kids for them to close down the schools. Like if it snowed earlier, they would clear the roads. We would keep going. If it snowed later, or there was going to snow later, we went to school. It was like you always went to school. It was ridiculous, really. It was really ridiculous. Yeah. But here, no. If somebody goes, it smells like snow, then everybody goes to the grocery store. Armageddon's happening, and there's no milk, there's no eggs, there's no bread, and everybody thinks they're going to be holed up for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to home affordability. And this is interesting being here because, again, we grew up in Georgia. That was in like all the way up and through 2005 is when we left Georgia. Yep. But we bought our first house in 1995. And when we bought our house, it was like $70-something thousand, right? Like that was crazy. And then we bought our second house in 2004 in Georgia when we moved, and it was $189,000. And then we got a really good deal. We moved in to Michigan, and that house that we moved into was $250,000. I think it was about $250,000 we paid for that house, and we stayed there for several years. And then we moved and we got a really good deal on a house that was it was foreclosed on, and so we did a renovation loan. We bought for $140,000, and we ended up selling that house for like $350,000. So we made a good profit on that house, but we also lived in it for 10 years before we moved here. So coming here, now you know kind of the price range that we were expecting, and then we moved to Franklin, Tennessee, where there's nothing under 6-7 at the time. It was 2019, 2020, and like there's nothing under 600. Like, and now in Franklin, it needed
would
way.
Not have been something we would have looked at.
Keep in mind, we can't buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Right. Like we have to buy a 22-bedroom, 18-bath house. Well, not that big, but like we do have to buy a little bit bigger house to make room.
We just happened to land right when the boom happened and people were, buying houses over asking price, no contingency and all that. It was just nuts.
It was.
But it's better now. So.
It is better now. It's settled down a little bit. I wouldn't say it's less expensive. It's still high price. The housing is still high price, but there's also areas outside of Nashville, Franklin. Keep in mind that Davidson County, which is where Nashville is, and Williamson County, which is where Brentwood and Franklin are. Those are that is the two most expensive counties to live in Tennessee. And there's about a 5 or 6 county area right around Nashville that is actually high balance as far as conventional loan limits go. It's a high balance limit. So what that means is the conventional loan limit across the country is $726,000 right now here in 2023. It's about to change in 2024, but it's $726,200 right now, and our conventional balance is actually $890,000. Like, it's totally different because we're set in such a high cost area. So we're in the middle of purchasing or getting ready to purchase a new build, and our price point is we were able to find what we wanted. We were able to find what she wanted, and it has all the features and everything that she wants. And I do have one square. I got an office, and then I was told that I had a back porch, but I don't really have a back porch because I was just told just the other day when we were out there on that back porch, we went to look at it, that it was actually where she was going to put her stuff and some furniture, and she has a whole plan. And so I just realized that I've got kicked out of my own back porch.
What were you planning to put on the back porch?
I don't know, like to make entertainment.
Okay. Moving on.
Yes.
You gotta go out.
You do have to go out.
Outskirts.
So there are areas, like you can go out to Dixon area, which is west. You can go out past Lebanon, which is east. You can go south to Columbia or below Lewisburg area. You can go north, White House, up above White House, or out towards Clarksville, which is about 45 minutes to an hour northwest of Nashville. And you can find reasonable housing. We went to Lewisburg and saw some stuff in the 200s. Yeah. We went to Clarksville and there's stuff in the 300s, 400s. Yes, there's areas there that have more expensive homes too, but you can find a reasonably priced house outside of the Nashville market and the direct Nashville market. And that's promising, because that actually is very similar to Georgia, because Atlanta was super expensive and the areas in North Atlanta were super expensive. But then when you get out a little bit further out of town, you're 45 minutes to an hour out of town. It's very similar to that. You get 45 minutes from downtown, an hour from downtown, and you're in smaller towns that haven't hit that boom. And you do have to deal with the infrastructure change because they aren't updated on their infrastructure yet, and the schools haven't been updated yet in some cases. But it's definitely something that you could move into and still afford in an outskirts area and not have to worry about, oh, will I ever be able to buy a house again, because it's millions and millions of dollars. So
yeah. And even though you have to drive further, it's a beautiful drive.
It is a beautiful drive.
It's not just flat land like Michigan was. So.
Right. And you may be wondering, this may be a big concern for you. It is for my wife. Costco. Is there a Costco? There are several Costcos. There's one on the west side. There's a new one opening up on the northeast side. There's one in Murfreesboro. If you want to go to Murfreesboro. There's one in Franklin, Brentwood, right on the Brentwood, Franklin border. So there are Costcos. If you need to hit the Costco, there are those. Plenty of grocery stores. We have lots of choices for good, wholesome food, like not just a Whole Foods, but we have Trader Joe's. We have Sprouts, which is a grocery store chain all over the country. And there's plenty of options for good organic food. Probably what I've seen is one of the best farmers markets on the planet in Franklin. Yes. And not just Franklin. There's one in Nolensville. There's one in Columbia. There's one in Spring Hill. I mean, there's Murfreesboro, there's farmers markets everywhere.
And most of the year they're there.
Yeah.
It's just a short little season that they kind of shut down.
So
yeah.
Anything else that people need to know about their move to Tennessee?
I don't know. It's worth it.
I
would say that.
Well, you moved 12, not 12, but almost 12 kids to Tennessee. We found a great homeschool community because we homeschool, and there's co-ops and things for piano and art and different things that we've been able to do, and that was cool. We found a great church because that's one of our priorities. We wanted to find a great place that we could have our kids go to church and us go to church. So we found that, and I don't know, I think it kind of checked all the boxes for why we wanted to move here. Absolutely. And we've been able to make that work. We've moved a couple times trying to navigate exactly where we wanted to be, and now we've settled down and purchased our house to be done in January. You can check out videos. We have build update videos here on the channel. You're welcome to look at those, and you can see those on our YouTube channel. And you can also check out everything we've just talked about, because we talked about Lebanon, Gallatin. We talked about 2 lakes. We talked about the Opryland. We talked about downtown. We talked about the Gulch. We talked about Murfreesboro, Clarksville, Columbia, Spring Hill, Thompson Station, Franklin, Brentwood.
All kinds.
I don't know. All that's on our channel, and you can check out all those videos. We do vlog tours. We do pros and cons of moving to certain areas. If you want to know more information, you're welcome to check those channel things out on the channel. You can also give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. If you send that to me and you actually want to talk to her, that's fine. She'll gladly talk to you. Nobody ever calls her. But you're welcome to call her if you want to talk to her as well. She can tell you the ins and outs of how her views are versus how my views are. That's totally fine too. Hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. See you next video.